Today I want to talk about one of my favorite shows of all time, Broad City. So for this video, I wanted to have a little bit of a looser format. So I'm going to be talking about the character arcs of the two main characters in the series, Ilana and Abbi, and I'm just going to kind of loosely cover the series as it goes and as they change. So before I get into the show, just a brief intro to the history of how this show came to be. It was created as a web series originally in 2009 by Ilana Glazer and Abbi Jacobson. They were sort of making characters based on themselves as they tried to make it in New York City. But I would say the heart of the series was always the friendship between Abbi and Ilana. The show got picked up by Comedy Central, where it premiered in 2014 and ran for 5 seasons, ending in 2019. It's just another good thing that ended in the year 2019. I think that just this dynamic between them, and especially because they were at the heart of writing this show and creating this show from the very beginning, I think that was really the key to the magic that happened, because their friendship on screen is to this day still one of my favorite friendships depicted in anything. It feels very relatable in a lot of ways if you've had a best friend that you've been attached to the hip to, but it also just the things that they go through, it's crazy, but it definitely makes you feel a lot better about what's going on in your own life, I'll tell you that. So Abbi Abrams is an aspiring artist and Ilana Wexler is a recent NYU grad from Long Island. They meet in New York and become completely inseparable. The show to me is kind of a coming of age story, but for the young adult demographic. I feel like you see a lot of media out there for high school students and even nowadays more so for young college students just trying to figure out who they are in this world. And I really appreciate any show that can kind of give that same dynamic to adults, because you don't just like turn 25 and look like the cast of Cheers. I mean, at least not these days anymore. There's just a lot more to be figured out past high school and college. So it's really nice to see depictions of people actively going and figuring out their life and not having everything sorted by age 25. This kind of show, this coming of age story is one that I've always really enjoyed. I used to watch Skins back in the day, Buffy, Boy Meets World. Any of those were always like near and dear to my heart. But in general, I am seeing a little bit more of this type of character, the lovable but clumsy or just like messy personality, the person who you root for but just doesn't have their shit together. One major example of recent years would probably be Jake Peralta from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He is the main character of that show, but he does start out a lot less likable at the beginning and has a whole lot of growth that needs to be done. One of the main points about his character is that he has not learned to quote unquote grow up. So the same kind of goes with Abbi and Ilana. They are adults, but they are not grown up, you would say. They capture what it feels to really venture out on your own for the first time as a young adult and how fun and free that can be, but also just how chaotic it can get at times. The show feels very human, and it's funny every time, even when they're put in situations that seem so uncomfortable and honestly are a little too close to home sometimes. As sad as I was for the show to end, they really wrap it up in a positive way, and I couldn't have asked for more. At the very least, they got 5 seasons to be able to complete the story that they had. I just wanted to read this one quote from Ilana Glazer about the final season of Broad City. She said, "I feel like we've raised these kids, Abbi Abrams and Ilana Wexler, and we're sending them to college. We didn't want to just go until it got canceled. We wanted to choose to end it so that it could end as strong as possible. We chose this ending to honor the characters. It's just nice to hear that, you know, these characters never stopped being important to them. As much as they gave it to the people, they also wanted to make sure that it ended properly so that, you know, for themselves and for the show as a whole, it had a closure to it. So the show begins showing Abbi and Ilana in this place in both of their lives where they are more concerned about just having fun and going out and partying than really anything else in their lives, which is totally fair.
Ooh, in the back, Ilana, dope sweatshirt. What is your deal?
I've been kind of obsessed with getting paid.
The pilot episode really sets up these two and their dynamic, and it shows both of them in jobs that they do not care about, Abbi being a cleaner at a gym and Ilana working at, I don't know, like some sort of publicist company, I believe. They both want to go to a Lil Wayne concert and even blow off their jobs so that they can go do a quick money-making scheme so that they can try to buy Lil Wayne tickets.
Abbi, let me know if you have AIDS.
You'll be the first one that I tell when I find out.
So it really shows you where their priorities are in this first episode. Obviously, leaving their job, calling in sick to go try and make money on the street. It's like not the best planning, but obviously shit just does not go their way. They try and drum up money on the street, but someone starts dancing to their music and they're the ones getting all the tips instead of them.
5%! I can't do this anymore. This is insane. We're like,
where'd the music go?
are you kidding me? No! She wouldn't even have anything to dance to if it wasn't for us!
So they answer this ad that must have been on Craigslist or something, and of course Fred Armisen is in this because what show is that man not in? They go clean his apartment in their underwear completely, and then he has no money because of course he doesn't.
I just degraded my friend for you, and I thought we were gonna be paid.
I can pay you in blocks.
You're not a baby, you're a man!
This whole episode, obviously it shows a much bigger pattern of them having plans, things just going completely awry, and them just making it even more chaotic and making the situation usually worse. But in the end, they're always there for each other. They always have each other. So it's that support system, and it's that friendship and love that you have with someone that you know they'll be with you no matter what stupid shit you guys pull. And I think that's really beautiful. But in these first few episodes of the first season, you really start to see their dynamic between the two of them. Ilana is a little bit more of the outgoing, extroverted one, and Abbi is a little bit more quiet. But when you pair them together, they just feed off each other's energy, you know? But you also can see that even though they both have aspirations, they are both kind of just trying to live right now. Pilot episode being kind of a series of unfortunate events is really the blueprint of the show. Most episodes, things just don't go according to their plan. Some of the things that happen to them are like my worst fear come to life in a social situation, but something about seeing them go through like the worst situation you could possibly imagine and then come out okay, it is also kind of healing in a way too. Like it's kind of reassuring that you can make your biggest fuck ups in life, but fortunately or unfortunately, like life kind of just goes on. The first season continues on with mostly shenanigans, as they would say. You do get to meet more of the characters that make up their world. There is, for instance, Jeremy, which is Abby's neighbor that she has a massive crush on. And there's also Bevers, who I'll mention, which is Abby's roommate's boyfriend, who stays at their apartment even though he has his own apartment. Episode 3 of season 1, Working Girls, it starts with Abby calling in sick from work once again so that she can stay behind and try to catch a package for Jeremy.
If you could sign for a package for me that I'm expecting.
Oh.
I mean, only if you're gonna be home anyway.
Totally.
Amazing.
And in her romanticization of the whole thing, and she goes out to get food so that she can try and have a little date with Jeremy later when she gets his package, she misses the package because they came before the delivery window even started. Abby ends up on this wild goose chase trying to get this package for Jeremy so she doesn't have to tell him that she missed it. And she has to go all the way to this remote island with this empty warehouse. And this is the introduction of one of my favorite running bits of the show. And her name is Garrel.
Girl, you seem like so great. I can just tell from this interaction.
So this moment does not leave the back of my head, but no, it's so frustrating too because she tries to get Bevers to help her. She obviously cannot get the package. And in the end, it's really Bevers who gets the brownie points with Jeremy. But let me just go back to Garrel for a second, because there are a few running bits of this show that I absolutely love. But this is one that I did not even notice, even though I have rewatched this series several times. Because throughout the show, in random episodes, Garrel will just be there.
Do you have a harness in the sides?
Another one of my favorite bits is Ilana's song that she sings. It doesn't matter what the phrase is, but she just sings it in threes, if that makes sense.
I reach, I reach, I reach, I reach.
Like sometimes in my head, I'm just thinking,
She worked, she worked, she worked. Ooh.
I'm so sorry for that, by the way. So at this point in the series, they're both really kind of far away from their dreams, but there are still hints of what their goals are. Abbi and Ilana continue to show the kind of best friendship that anyone would long for, but there are situations that you just would not wish on anybody happening. In the first season, during Hurricane Wanda, they're all hunkering down in Abby's apartment, and with Jeremy being there, she gets really nervous and takes a massive toilet destroying shit while the power is out. So she's not able to flush it down, and she enlists Ilana to help her get rid of the shit.
Abby, I'm gonna take care of this for you.
There's no way.
I am a doo-doo ninja.
What does that even mean?
And this is one of those stories that you like read somewhere that you're like not sure if it's real or not, about people having to like throw their shit out of the window. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm so sorry. But yeah, Ilana takes care of the shit. At some point later in the episode, Bevers' sister finds shit in her shoe.
Shit in my shapely. Was it you, Dimples?
No, I'm on a low-fiber diet.
After a bunch of pressure, Abbi confesses that it must have been her shit.
Ilana said that she would take care of it. I did not think that meant that she would put it in your shoe. God, I'm sorry.
Oh my god, it's so, like, I think I left my body when I saw this for the first time. But yeah, she confesses only to find out that it was Bevers the whole time. And Ilana, she got rid of that. She got rid of that shit, you know? But when you see like how she did it at the end, like once again, you are just amazed by the loyalty and the friendship, because like that's someone you can trust right there to hide a body if you need to, because she hid that body. The last episode of the first season is called The Last Supper, and it is on Abby's birthday. And they definitely have a theme of birthdays throughout this show. They show several of their birthdays, and things never go right. I mean, as usual, things never go right. I think as the show goes on and they have these different birthday episodes, it does show their growth throughout the seasons, even though they're usually finding themselves in the same types of situations. They have made growths and improvements over the time in between. And as they get older, they both decide to go more for their own goals and dreams, but they're still the type of people that go to a fancy Michelin star restaurant and leave in anaphylactic shock. Ilana especially, her character at the beginning was all about the pursuit of happiness and fun and just doing whatever she wants, but not really thinking about the consequences. And here is one of those moments that she really gets slapped with reality, but at the very least, she has Abbi by her side and to literally carry her out bridal style from the restaurant. At the end, they have another one of their sort of moments talking about their bucket lists and their goals for the future, but this one with a little bit of a morbid sort of foreshadowing, because as they're talking about their future, someone next to them in the hospital passes away. It's also like just a reality for someone who may not have, crazy coverage on their health insurance, that she needs to go to the hospital, but that doesn't mean you get your own private room to have a moment with your friend. There are just so many things that to this day I reference from this show, or just feel like are relevant more than ever. One of them, the season 2 episode #FOMO, Ilana is feeling like she is missing out, especially after she found out that Abbi had kind of a wild night recently and got her nose pierced and Ilana wasn't there. So since she already feel like she missed out on that crazy night, the next time they go out, they start party hopping.
Extremely early?
Nope, you're the last to arrive. Hey guys, look who's here.
We have to go.
They keep party hopping, trying to find the perfect experience, but as soon as they start having fun, Ilana will say, no, like this party's dead, let's go to the next one.
We have a huge problem. We have to leave right now.
Why?
The hottest person here is leaving. This party's gonna be dead in 3 to 5 minutes.
And they end up at this crazy rooftop party. At the end, Abbi is completely wasted. She's blackout drunk at this point, and she takes Ilana to this little like speakeasy, this little jazz lounge that's just hidden, and everybody knows Abbi by the name of Val. And she just goes around singing jazz, and she has like a completely different persona that comes out, and it's just so like amazing for Ilana. At the end of all this, Abbi doesn't even remember being Val. So really, can you miss out on something that someone else doesn't even remember happened? They very often have episodes with a similar kind of message about being present in the moment and just trying to find happiness within your own life with the people that you love, and instead of looking outwards for external validation. In the next episode after that, The Matrix, they actually get so sucked into their own phones that they forget that they're like sitting right next to each other. And again, this is one of those moments that's like, that was before, that was pre-2020 era where things are very different, but that has not changed. By the time we get to Ilana's birthday in the second season, I love this episode, by the way, just because most of it takes place with them walking down the street, and so much just is going on in the background that you can just keep picking up on. They have certain plans, they try to make it to those plans, things don't work out because they have like an awkward reunion with people that they barely know.
Many jump bugs you, okay?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Wow!
Yo, girlfriends!
Hey!
Long time no freaking see!
Look at you two!
And they really just end up eating pizza like on the street with each other, but it still feels like the perfect way to celebrate Ilana's birthday. They talk about what they're proud of and what their goals are for the future. Love her attainable goals and successes here.
Next year, I want to finish a book, reading, not writing. I want to gradually lower my dosage of antidepressants. And I want to join Ancestry.com.
Oh, I'm in.
You know, another reminder that like it really is all about sharing your successes and your struggles with your friends. I think that obviously is, like I said, the core of this very show is not only experiencing things with your friends, but just sharing the good and the bad. I haven't even like mentioned their cold opens, but some of them are so well done. One of my favorites actually is the season 3 opener, because it takes place immediately after Ilana's birthday party from the season finale previously. And it shows both of them side by side in their bathrooms. And then it seems like an entire year goes by. You see all these things happening side by side, and they show them like living their lives. And it's funny, but honestly, it's also kind of beautiful. But it's how their life looks from their toilet, you know? I love that also as just like an artistic way to show the time passing. They began the season with them ending kind of a crazy night, and that it doesn't just immediately pick up to them being all happy and everything's great again. It kind of just shows their daily life, like a little peek into what each of their lives are like when they are away from each other. By season 3, I feel like both of them, they give less effort, even less effort into the jobs that they have, just because they know that that's not the careers that they're going for. Again, this was something that is kind of a nice reminder sometimes. Not that I think it's okay to just like be a shitty coworker, but just that sometimes I think you can get so like locked into your position and locked into the kind of job that you have. It doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice yourself and your own mental health or well-being for a job that's not even your dream job, you know? So many jobs out there, they expect you to give 110% of yourself. They don't reward you unless you're doing way above what your job description actually asks of you. And so honestly, it's nice sometimes to have a reminder to just act your wage, do what you were paid for. But I digress. Ilana's unprofessionalism has finally caught up with her. She's at the same job that she's been in since the beginning, somehow has not yet gotten fired. She finally crosses the line one too many times and actually gets canned. She somehow got the opportunity to run the Twitter account for this company that her job is doing promotion work for. And she tweets out like bestiality from that account.
It's brilliant. I was just doing my job really well. And if you did your homework, Todd, you would know that the horse was fucking the guy. It's chill.
Again, Ilana's brain is like, it's levels ahead of our own. So you can't really understand like what she was thinking. Even though Ilana is often slacking off, she is at her heart a hard worker. She is smart. She just doesn't usually apply herself in a job that she doesn't care about. So Ilana is someone who has never really wanted to be monogamous. She is bi or pansexual. I'm not sure exactly how she identifies, but she prefers being in open type of relationships, and she loves like polyamorous kind of relationships. So she just does not usually like to be in a single monogamous kind of relationship. And throughout the series, she has an on-again, off-again kind of thing going with this character named Lincoln. And Lincoln is like a great friend. He is so funny in the story, and he's always like there for both Abbi and Ilana. But at the end of the day, he was always someone that wanted to settle down and be monogamous, and she's someone who is not. So in season 3, Lincoln actually does break up with Ilana, wanting to be monogamous with someone else.
I want to be monogamous.
I'm sorry, we've talked about this so many times. It's just not for me.
No, with the other girl.
Our arrangement is perfect for me, just as it is.
We want to be monogamous with each other.
No, we don't. You're not listening even. We haven't even had a threesome with a boy yet.
Talking about Steph. She's my girlfriend now, Ilana. We're together.
Okay.
And at the same time, Abbi is keeping her secret like situationship with her boss Trey secret from Ilana. So Ilana's parents are having an anniversary dinner, and they have a whole Mrs. Doubtfire-esque situation. It's completely Miss Doubtfire, which if you don't know, there's a whole part basically where Abbi is going on a date with Trey, and it's unknowingly at the same place that Ilana and her family are having their anniversary dinner. So she gets seen, and she has to pretend like she is at both tables, eating with both tables. And it escalates until Ilana's mom starts choking, and Trey has to come save her. So it's like 1-to-1 the Mrs. Doubtfire plot, down to like the reactions.
Here we go! Work with me! Oh!
The whole time?
It does feel like it marks a turning point for both of them. One with Ilana, even though she does eventually get back with Lincoln, I think this was the first turning point of her realizing that what she wants in her love life is not something she sees changing, that she wants to remain open and poly, and she wants to just be able to be with whoever she wants to be in that moment. And that brings me to, again, one of my favorite episodes of the whole series, and what I think is one of the most important of the whole series, which is the first episode of season 4, Sliding Doors. And it is named after the Gwyneth Paltrow movie of the same name. If you have not seen that movie, let me briefly explain the concept. In the film and also in the episode, they basically show 2 different realities. One where this woman makes it onto the train she's trying to catch, and one where she doesn't make it onto this train. And you see how those 2 realities go, and how one, she has this great life, all these great things happen to her, and one, all these shitty things happen to her. And in the end, you find out that the reality that was real is the one where all the shitty things happen. I love their take on this story, and it follows a very similar format, but specifically the episode is the story about how they met and how they became friends. The episode begins with both of them trying to get on the subway, not having enough for the fare, and in one reality, they make the train, and in the other, they do not. In the one where they miss the train, they decide to spend the whole day together, and it's really like the perfect experience. They both kind of solve each other's problems, versus in the other reality, they do make it on the train, and because of that, they just go their separate ways. In the one where they go their separate ways, they both are having like the worst day that you could possibly imagine. There's a whole thing where someone's out there like the snipper who's just snipping girls' ponytails. And of course, he gets Abby.
No! Oh my god!
What happened?
He took my pony!
But in the end, you realize that the actual reality is the one where they're both having the worst day imaginable. But they both end up at the same bench together and just talk about each other's day. And they notice that there's wet cement in front of them, so they write Abbi and Ilana 2011. And that is the birth of their friendship. Again, as much as this also just goes with the running theme of how everything goes wrong for them, nothing goes their way. It's never been their day, their month, or even their year, you could say. What you wish for and what you want is not always what you need. In this case, if they had perfect lives and nothing going on, they would have never had the opportunity to actually meet each other and become the best friends that they have become. Having someone who you can talk to about all the hard things you've been going through, about how awful of a day that you had, and for someone else to be able to relate, like that relationship really is priceless. Later in season 4, Abby's mom comes to visit, and after a cancer scare that she had, she is just wanting to live her life to the fullest and do all these things that she's never been able to do. Ilana is serving them at the restaurant she works at, but she is dealing with her own depression. Side note, her boss for a while is RuPaul, and it's so funny because like RuPaul exists canonically in this universe, but this is not RuPaul. This is Marcel, and he's like at least alluded to be straight. Like, I don't know, but it's very interesting, and it also like it makes the whole like Georges on Snatch Game even funnier.
She put the broad in Broad City.
But anyway, she's dealing with her depression having gotten worse in recent weeks, and she's been trying to tell herself that this is just her seasonal affective disorder.
You know, Ilana, maybe you just increase your medication?
No, I don't need to do that. And I'm supplementing anyway with my sad lamp, happy lamp.
It's so nice to very plainly talk about mental health and to talk about it casually in a way such as a friend noticing that their friend is struggling and immediately saying, hey, like, it's okay if you need to up your medication. At the same time, when Ilana kind of expresses that she's not ready for that, Abbi supports her and she doesn't talk down on her for that decision. She also just helps her by like keeping her sad lamps going so that she can try to feel, you know, any dose of serotonin that she can. It's really refreshing because it covers the struggles that one might go through when trying to hide their depression and not make it as noticeable to others, especially when you have a job that calls for you to have to be very presentable and fun and happy. You're forced to kind of hide behind that wall, and Ilana, her wall is just like crumbling down in front of everybody. It gets obviously to a point of complete chaos in the end because Ilana's able to be honest with her boss about what she's going through. He understands and is not going to take it out on her because he knows that she's going through something right now and that doesn't reflect on her performance.
But this depression shit, that's next level bitchy. Kind of digging it. My dick is a little bit hard. I hope you never get better.
And as much as that's not always realistic, it's just really nice to see that someone can be open and honest about their mental health struggles and that a job would take that seriously as any other illness. Ilana realizes that upping her medication really isn't a big deal and that, you know, her loved ones are going to be there for her no matter what. She's not doing anything that's changing who she is by by having medication, because Ilana is always shown as the really fun-loving, carefree kind of character, but that's really not the reality for pretty much anyone. I think Broad City, it toys with a lot of the horrible shit that happens in our reality, but them two sticking with each other, they are the rocks for each other to withstand all the crazy shit. In one episode, Abbi starts worrying a little bit about aging. At this point, she's selling some of her art as greeting cards, and she sets up a little booth outside. And there's this ongoing theme. She notices all these similarities to the women around her who have set up these booths. They have all the same stuff, the same hobbies, and so everything around her is just making her feel much older. While Ilana has to work on her own mental blocks, Abbi is slowly being beaten down by this idea that she's become this old hag. And eventually this dermatologist comes in, played by Greta Lee, and she says she's like 50 years old. And so, of course, Abbi decides she wants to get some work done.
Sorry, but how old are you? I'm 51.
What? Wait, you're 51. Fuck you. Sorry, I'm so sorry. You're 51 years old?
I get that a lot. I'm a dermatologist, an Upper East Side dermatologist, if you catch my drift.
So she goes to get some Botox from this woman and bails after the first injection.
Like I made a little bit of a mistake. Found a gray hair, and then I ran into an ex of mine today, and I think I just got like real swept up in that moment. Because I actually really like the way that I look. You know, I think I'm really hot.
When she's talking to the dermatologist and she finally, realizes like how much of a freak out she had over a gray hair, Greta Lee panics over having any facial expression that could cause a wrinkle. This was a joke back then, but this is not a joke anymore, because have you seen TikTok in the past couple years? There are so many people out there that talk about how they control their facial expressions and keep them to a minimum. And these are 20-year-olds making sure that they don't show too much emotion so that they don't have wrinkles in 20 years. A pursuit of youth, especially for women and young women, it has been pushed to an extreme in the past few years.
It's hard to be beautiful these days. It is my full-time job, but for most other women, it's their second full-time job where you're losing money.
To the point, obviously, now where people are now getting concerned about these anti-aging products for young teens and even considering banning them.
Oh. Hey, Ilana.
It's period blood!
The last season really does perfectly wrap up the ending of the series for me and wraps up their storylines. It shows them finally reaching kind of the end of their arc and their growth as people, and unfortunately that does end with them being apart from each other. Another big turning point of the season is episode 5, Artsy Fartsy, and it's one of the first times in a while that Abbi and Ilana are kind of forced to be apart. Abbi is invited to a art event at the MoMA from an old college friend, and Ilana can't go because she has an anniversary dinner with Lincoln.
Please come as my close personal guests. Oh, I have this dinner I have to go to. That sucks. We can't go.
Oh. Well, I mean, I could still go, alone.
Well, I guess you could.
At this point, Lincoln and her had gotten back together, but their plan was after 1 year to have a check-in and go over their boundaries and their wants and everything. Abbi decides to go to the art event and has to call out of work, but classically when she arrives, it ends up being the catering gig was at this art event.
Thank God you came after all. I was actually going to fire you for bailing tonight.
Abbi tries to do both. She tries to work there and also meet people and make new art connections. and Ilana having her date with Lincoln. They're having a very fancy dinner at a very nice restaurant. As they start talking more and more about their wants and desires for the future, they come to a realization that they're at an impasse. That Lincoln wants to settle down and have a future, and that Ilana does not see herself settling down with any one person.
I have no counter.
Well, these points are non-negotiable for me.
They just really slowly come to this point where they just have nothing else to say. And that's when they both kind of unconsciously make the decision to make the most out of this meal. Like, sadness is making them gorge on the meal together. It gets to this point of them like gorging themselves to pain, to fullness and achiness, so that they just like can stuff down the sadness that they're feeling about the fact that they need to break up. It's really nice to see Ilana put her foot down, and not only for her needs in her love life, but that she wants to pursue being a therapist, and that she's always seen her life being in New York, so she doesn't change that for anybody else. Meanwhile, Abbi is having the worst time. She does eventually get caught trying to do both the catering and being a guest, and of course she spills wine all over one of her inspirations, Toy Harris.
It's not that bad. I don't even like this dress. It's too yellow.
I am so sorry. This is not how this was supposed to go down. I was so excited to be here tonight as a guest with all these cool art people. I mean, I'm actually an artist too.
She kind of makes the whole moment about herself, but anyway,
I spilled on Toy Harris. I spilled on Toy Harris.
Okay.
I am getting dizzy. This is insane.
Good night.
Oh my God. Okay.
Passes out, and just having this whole thing, it did help her sort of realize like she hasn't been able to do that much with her art career in the past few years, and that she wants to get back into it. Abbi kind of realizes that although things, of course, did not go the way she thought they would, she heard about this art program, she was able to meet Toy Harris, and at the end, when she was getting stitches on her head from passing out, she meets this really cute doctor. And it's the first time that Abbi expresses interest in dating a woman. Of course, Ilana doesn't take this too well.
Cool. We just both had these sort of life-altering nights out there on our own. Yes.
Yeah.
But she at least is happy for her friend to realize that, you know, she wants to pursue people of other gender presentations. I do love that they were able to explore this side of Abbi, because it's something that they've kind of hinted at in her past before, but it's a little unfortunate that it had to happen like towards the end of the last season, because you only really get to see her having an experience with this one woman, and it doesn't turn out the best. In the end, it's still a way for her to not only figure herself out, it does propel her towards the art career that she's looking for. So Abbi starts dating this doctor, and pretty early on they realize it isn't like the best fit. The biggest reason why is that she doesn't feel like her and Abbi are really in the same point in life. Abbi's girlfriend breaks up with her.
You just don't really feel like an adult yet. And I'm sure your life is fun, but it's really just kind of a series of wild shenanigans.
And she is, of course, heartbroken and angry. Abbi and Ilana are at a play, and Abbi tries to go to the balcony to get some like cute photos and make her girlfriend jealous. Of course, she falls right out the emergency exit and gets stuck in a crevice that she could just pass away in. And who calls her but her girlfriend? wanting to apologize and saying that maybe she was wrong about her not being mature enough.
I think there's any way that we could try this again.
You mean like get back together?
Even though they make up, Abbi has to admit that she has gotten herself in one of these shenanigans again.
Gotten myself in a little bit of trouble. But I do need you to call 911.
What?
Even though this one was a little bit of a downslide for maybe both of them, just in terms of them not really making the smartest decisions, because she had gone through this whole thing with her ex and she kind of realized that she is a little bit right about some of this, she decides to, on a whim, apply for the Colorado art residency. And it's just crazy that so much pain and so much stuff that Abbi has gone through has really led up to this moment where she was able to have the courage to even apply for this art residency. They show that progress is not always linear, that sometimes, you know, you can feel like you haven't made any progress at all because people backslide all the time. Every step of their journey leading up to this point, it only led to the moments that would make them who they want to become. That every awful interaction and every bad job that they had led to the moments where Abbi would find this art residency and Ilana would decide to go back to be a therapist. In the next episode, Abbi has to try to break it to Ilana that she got into this art program and that she's going to be leaving for Colorado in a few weeks. Meanwhile, Ilana is trying to look for a new roommate. So even though she's looking at other roommates, she's also wanting to ask Abbi if she will be her new roommate. So they both have these things they want to ask each other and are waiting to ask each other. They decide to go to this art performance called Sleep No More that Ilana had always wanted to go see. There, not too long after it starts, Abbi can't really hide it anymore, especially because Ilana keeps hinting about the whole roommate thing, and Abbi just has to tell her that she's leaving for Colorado.
I got accepted to an artist residency program in Boulder, Colorado. And I'm gonna go.
The rest of this episode, they are going through the rooms of the performance piece, and they're going into these rooms before the performance starts, like they're trying to have their argument away from everybody, but the performance is kind of following them. So there's so many moments where they kind of become a part of the performance art. Each one of these rooms, it feels like they go into, it feels like Ilana is working through a different emotion about this entire thing. It definitely kind of has an ebb and flow as the conversation goes. By the end, Ilana kind of completely regresses, has a meltdown, and jumps on a tree.
Program starts in 2 weeks.
What are you talking about?
Stop, Ilana!
Even as they're finally able to come to better terms of it, when they're done with this experience, it's still like mid-afternoon. And I thought this was like a perfect example of how, like, even when your world feels like it's over and it feels like the most horrible thing has happened to you, the world just goes on, you know, life just goes on. They are so close, like something like this couldn't destroy their relationship personally. And I do appreciate that this isn't something that they dragged out. The last couple of episodes are them just trying to make the most out of the time that they have with each other before Abbi leaves in 2 weeks for Colorado. The second to last episode, they once again try to go to a Lil Wayne concert. Abbi bought tickets, she bought Molly for both of them, and just wants to give Ilana the night she deserves. But they're trying to sell off some of Abbi's furniture to get money for this whole thing, and even though Ilana wants to keep Abby's couch, it gets picked up by the trash collectors. So of course they have to go after it. And by the time the truck stops, they need to go to the concert. So, of course, they walk around all over New York with this couch. So they make it to the concert, they stash the couch away in an alley, and they try to get in, and their tickets are fake. They start feeling the molly and everything, and they don't make it into the concert, but they do have a whole drug-fueled, like, therapy session in the alleyway where they realize how codependent they are on each other.
We are codependent. We, you, me. We're little Codys, dude. It sucks. But also it doesn't. It's gonna be great.
Because of all that, when they leave, they forget the couch. But it's really the perfect little ending of that part, because I think that's truly Ilana being able to let that go and accept that she is not gonna be gone forever just because the couch is gone. The final episode is the last hurrah for both of them. They have their final goodbyes as Abbi goes to the airport.
You have so much to give. So much all wrapped up. And you're just letting it unroll. I mean, I don't even feel like I was like alive before I met you. You like taught me how to do it, dude.
But of course they don't just end it there. So they cut to 4 months later and you see Abbi living in Colorado doing her art residency and Ilana living in New York, but they still call and text each other on the daily, like all the time. And it's very obvious that even though they're far away from each other, they're still very much active in each other's daily lives. This was a really nice sign that, at least for those who are really there for you and those who really matter, will make the effort to stick around. The show did really come at a formative time for me. It helped me realize just how much you don't have to have things figured out. This really just showed how much you are on your own journey and that you cannot compare it to someone else's because their destination and their journey is going to be completely different than yours. It also helped me to laugh at my own mistakes and shortcomings because I've always been kind of a perfectionist and someone who just fears making a mistake or embarrassing myself. This show, like I said, it's kind of exposure therapy because you're forced to sit through these really uncomfortable situations that they get themselves in. Both Abbi and Ilana had relied on each other so much that actually separating allowed them to grow even more into their unique selves and just be the best versions of themselves. But that didn't mean they had to sacrifice their friendship. They both influenced each other in different ways to become better versions of themselves. And because they are the number one support for each other, that means they were able to actually kind of find out who they were. I truly do think that friends can be soulmates. I think that you can have someone that is your person and that doesn't have to mean romantically. I think really it's more important to show that they have this long-lasting friendship that is never going to be at risk because of a romantic attachment. At the end of the day, the biggest takeaway I think about this show is that what they say, a win shared is double a win, and a burden shared is half of a burden. It's crazy, right? No, but seriously, I think that the importance of friendships in our lives cannot be overstated enough. Having a friend who truly sees you for who you are and is never going to judge you for that, I think is one of the most vital and pure forms of love that somebody can have. When it comes to friendships, that is something that you choose. So it's all the more stronger when you put that kind of love and effort into something because you choose that person. It can be easier sometimes to keep what we're going through private and to just suffer silently. And I think that you find a lot of strength when you're able to share with other people what you're going through and the pain that you're having. And I think a huge part of that is because we're never as alone as we really think we are. And I think understanding it is so much part of that sharing the burden and making it half of a pain. When we keep to ourselves and only keep our problems to ourselves, it keeps us even more isolated and lonely. And I think we're at a time right now where we're already as isolated and lonely as we can be. So I think it's really important to remember and appreciate the community that we do have. I recently saw this little snippet from an article, and it was posted on Tumblr, which is a perfect example, I feel like, of just how important sharing these emotions with our friends can be. So let me just read the quote. "Last night I ate dinner with my friend Jenny. We laughed, shared family news, told each other the things we'd been worrying over. At home, alone in my study, they'd felt insurmountable, a sign that something was irredeemably wrong with me. Under the gentle scrutiny of my friend, they diminished to a normal size, just the grit of everyday traffic with other humans. I walked home feeling buoyant, nearly invincible. I need my friends. I bet you need yours." An excerpt from Olivia Lang's latest book, Everybody, a Book About Freedom. Building a community and honestly just being known by another person is one of the fundamental parts about being alive. Like, are you really living? Are you really alive if other people don't know you because you won't let anyone else in? And that is why the show as a whole is a comfort to me and is a friend to me. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you feel like it, please like the video and subscribe. I will also be putting the Palestine Children's Relief Fund linked down below. If you're able to help in any way to donate or to share the fundraiser, please do in any way that you can. Okay. Hey, what's up?
What's up, dude?
Are you busy today?
No, I was just gonna clean up around the house a little bit.
Yeah. No, I definitely have some errands to do as well.
Yeah, like, I really should clean, but am I gonna, is the question.
And then maybe we'll, meet up?
Dude, yes. I just gotta get ready real quick, and then I can be right over.
Hell yeah. So, what do you even have to do today?
Honestly, other than chores, not much.
Beautiful. You're strong.
Oh my god. Dude, thank you so much.
Oh, no. No, sorry. I was talking to Avocado.
Oh, you were talking to your plant. No, yeah, that's cool, I get it.
But, I mean, like, you're beautiful. And worthy. And hot. And sexy.
Well, dude. Okay, thank you. That was very much needed. I should probably pick an outfit though. So, what about this one?
Ooh, no, you should definitely wear it.
Like, I want to wear the tank, but at the same time, I just don't really know about my broad ass shoulders being out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, fuck what anyone else thinks. You gotta show off the assets.
You think so?
Hell yeah.
Alright, you know what, dude? You're so right. I think I'm just gonna do it.
No, yeah, I'm almost done getting ready. What about you?
Yep, I'm almost ready. I just need about 2 minutes.
So, what are we gonna go do today anyway?
I don't know, but it's such a beautiful day. I feel like whatever we do, we should be outside, you know?
Okay, what if we went to Raging Waters and went on all the couple rides together?
Like, an amusement park sounds cool, but didn't they shut that place down?
Yeah, I guess they did shut down Raging Waters, huh? Okay, hear me out. What if we did indoor skydiving?
Ooh, yes, bruh. That's for sure the move.
I know, like, we were gonna do it for your birthday. So, I mean, it's like the perfect day, perfect time. I feel like we have to. Like, the universe is telling us we have to.
No, like, you're absolutely right. Because if not now, then when?
I can pick you up if you want. Just let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm pretty much ready, so, like, I can just come over whenever.
Did we both forget you were at my house? Or?
I definitely forgot I was at your house.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
No, come over, sweet thing. Well, now that your bright and shining face is here,
Yeah.
I have a question.
Hit me.
Is it okay if we just get delivery?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm down.
Oh, thank God. What about pizza?
Yeah, I'm down.
With it. And what toppings, milady?
I'm a pretty simple bitch. I can just do pepperoni.
Hell yeah. Pepperoni for my simple bitch. And is that it?
I think that's it.
And that's it. Okay, perfect. Anyway. Oh my God. Look at this fucking TikTok. Like, JoJo Siwa just needs to chill.